Hello, Rod Ovid here, and I love these times together. I enjoy sitting here at the microphone. It's like you and I are just together alone at a table and getting out the Bible and looking at a few things and talking and having a very quiet time of reflection and trying to figure out what's going on with our lives and how we are to best behave within this world in which we find ourselves. Some days are happy and we just laugh and have a good conversation. Other days are quiet, reflective. I know a lot that listen to these are going through suffering, are going through pain. And that makes today's text a little interesting. It's found in 1 Timothy 6, verse 6. But godliness with contentment is great gain. Now we read that and we are a little puzzled. What does that mean? I believe it starts with our definition of contentment. What does it mean to be content? First off, we need to consider what they thought contentment was in order to best understand this passage. There were those running around in Paul's day called moralists, and they thought of themselves as those that through their thinking they could be in contrast to material wealth and be content. A little background, Cicero was a senator at the time of Julius Caesar. In fact, he's one of those that came against Caesar. He wrote a book called Contentment, and in there he had a very famous quote, "Contentment is great gain." And I believe with all my heart that Paul was thinking philosophically and about that when he wrote this. And he says, well, Cicero, you're getting there. Contentment is very important. But let me tell you that godliness with contentment is great gain. So he put a different spin on it. The word for contentment there is autarkia. And it speaks of an inward self-sufficiency as opposed to the lack or the desire of outward things. It was a Stoic word expressing the doctrine of that philosophy that a man should be sufficient to himself for all things, and able by the power of his own will to resist the force of circumstances. Now we would say by the power of God's authority, by the power of God living in us, we can resist circumstances. So the question becomes, what is it that makes us content? When Cicero wrote contentment was great gain, he was thinking of wealth. Wealth seems to be the insulator. Wealth was used then and certainly used today as that thing that props us up, that keeps us above the fray, that can buy us out of things, can get us the best doctors, the best material things. And if we just keep things around us, we won't have time to be sad or introspective. We'll just be content all day long. And how many times have we gone after wealth and gone after things in order to make us content? But what it comes down to is this, that when the lights are out, when everyone has gone home, when we're alone, what is it that brings us joy? What is it that brings us peace? Is it that new car in the garage? Is it money in the bank? Or is it that inward peace knowing that our sins are forgiven? That we have a relationship with God, that He sees us, that He knows us. We are known by God. Certainly if He knows of every sparrow that falls, He knows the circumstances that you are in right now. And we need to understand that at the very base of our heart, that regardless of what we're going through right now, God knows. He will not leave us alone. He will work things out for the good, and eventually He'll bring us home to be with Him. Our contentment needs to be based on that. Jesus said, "Come unto me, all you that are weary and heavy laden, and I will give you rest. I will give you peace. I will give you contentment." Ask yourself today, on what or whom am I relying? And you pray to God and say, Father, I want to rely on you and you alone. Buoy me up during these turbulent times. I reach my hand up to you. Pull me up, dear Father. Hold me close. Help me to see you the way you see me. And then let me share my joy with others. You pray that today. And let's all strive to be more content as we realize everything we have in God.